It has gotten so exciting in this house. Episode review, episode 22 of Big Brother 14. Here we go. Ian, we open with Ian being afraid that Frank knows that he was the rat, and he says, I think I'm in trouble. Yeah, well, maybe not so much you, Ian, unfortunately. So, Ian, they hold the POV. Jen, takes down Dan. Brittany goes back up. Brittany sits in the nomination seats for a long period of time. Ian is so upset, he storms upstairs and he has words with Frank, and Frank says, if you're gonna yell, get out of here. And he says, thanks, I think I will. And he leaves, and he's just livid. He's just livid. Then Brittany goes, and she's actually following Ian, but she sees Dan in one of the rooms, so she goes into the room and talks to him and asks if she is the target. But Dan pulls his silent stunt on her, and she says, I've done nothing but treat you right in this game, and it's important to me, being on the jury, the way people treat one another while in the household. And he says, I'm not treating you any different. But he is treating her differently. He was treating her with a silent treatment that he gives everyone else when he refuses to talk or deal game. And, even if, he wanted to continue to play like he didn't know what happened or what was going on or whatever, he at least, gave... I would say that she at the very least deserved to have his respect and have him say, yes, you are more than likely the target, seeing as you're being backdoored. I mean, come on now, she wasn't being rational. She's still shell-shocked. She knew the minute she went up there, she was being backdoored, but I guess she just wanted to hear it confirmed, which is really sad. Especially because they were a pack for at least a couple of weeks. Anyway, then they said, to tweet in your vote whether we were going to reward or we were going to punish a house guest during the HOH. And later on, we find out that 51% of people voted for a punishment. It's quite evident, I was thinking, it's right around that time that America just starts getting tired of the house guests and want to start messing with them while they're in there. And sure enough, they voted for the punishment. Later on, I will tell you what the punishment is. If you want to hear spoilers, I'll put it at the very, very end, so you can go away if you don't want the spoiler. Anyway, Brittany tells everyone later on in the backyard that they are not safe, and she reminds them once again that Dan has already won the $500,000, and he's only out for himself and no one else, and that is quite evident. Was it bitter on her part? Maybe a little bit, but she was warning the people, don't let this continue to happen, So hopefully they're gonna see the light. I don't think they are. I think they're all blinded by this fact that, we have two strong people in the game. Ian is trying to prove himself to be a strong player. The rest are just hangers-on, and the hangers-on are going to follow these strong people because they think that they need these strong people to get them to the end, and they're so wrong. Right now, these weak people outnumber the strong people, and they really need to do something about it. It is tough because, you have the veto, and people are allowed to play in it that, aren't nominated. So, there's always the possibility that this person can win it and they won't be able to be backdoored, but, they have to try. They really, truly have to try to backdoor him being Frank and Dan. Anyways, we move to Shane and Joe, and they replay how Joe pledged his firstborn child to Shane, and he would vote however he wanted. So Shane is, reminds us that he has, really no choice in the matter. It's either vote out his best friend or his coach. So he had a very hard decision, and Brittany kept asking him throughout the game, what are you going to do? I deserve to at least know. I want to, dress pretty or be pretty or whatever. And production would not allow them to talk in the house, except that Ian, solidly said, I am voting for you. And I think in his little talks he told her, that she should definitely expect to be going home. Let's see. Then they invited back, a little clip of the brigade and how they did her wrong, and we find out that one of them is, keeps in touch with her and is. They actually talk on the phone a couple of times a week, which is kind of weird, but then it also proves that Brittany knows that it's just a game, regardless of how hurt her feelings are. She knows that this is a game, and she was able to look past the way they stabbed her in the back, and can continue to carry on a friendship outside of the house, which is really nice to know. Then we have Julie talking to Frank in the HOH without everyone else being able to be a part of it, and asks about how he went from wanting to have Dan out, with guns blazing, and how, he totally flipped, and it ends up that, he's not even the target anymore. And he was like, well, Dan came in and flipped the script on him and, told him that it was Ian that was the one that did him wrong and it wasn't Dan. And so he was like, fry the other fish now, while he can. And she asked him, do you trust him? And he's like, well, he's working on trust with him, but the second, he sees, that he can't trust him, then, well, he's out. But I'm thinking, hello? Brittany didn't see it coming. Do you think you're going to see it coming, Frank? Fools. Fools. These people are fools. They have a deal to go to the final two. Then we have the vote. Well, first we had the speeches, and Danielle was just like smooch, smooch, kiss, kiss, love, love, because she knows she was staying. She knew she was staying. And Brittany's best speech ever. I thought that Joe's, that thing, I thought that was the best speech ever. I might have to rethink the speeches. She says that she didn't have a big enough ego or the time to do her own funeral, but in the words of a very wise old man, who is Jerry, I believe, that said this to him, you'll always be Judas to me. And Dan, was able to at least grin at that. Ian was the only one that threw her the pity vote, which was nice, so that it wasn't a unanimous vote. And Dan hugged her as she went out the door and said sorry. Save it for the jury. Something that came out of this is, I've always known that Brittany is funny. That girl is funny, as much as, I'm thinking she's had her chance. She, didn't make it. These new people deserve to win. I'm going to miss her. I really am. Yeah, she moaned and, complained a lot. But, they're in a house. They're locked down. There's little to do. Complain, But she was really funny. And I think I might miss her, actually. Dan's goodbye speech to her said that it was not personal and that he respects her and that she's a good player in this game. I'm really glad that they didn't play a goodbye speech from Frank, because I have a feeling that it would have been not a very nice one. And while, they haven't spared other people from unkind speeches, I think that it was well played that they kept that, because I have a feeling that it probably was not too kind. And even Julie said that it was very nice to watch her playing the game again. So then, let's see, we have the HOH, which is an endurance competition called Soak Up the Sun, and everybody has a little disc that they're hanging from, and they have to hold on to this rope out on a very tiny little disc, and it's spinning them around the sun. And it's not just the sun, it's spitting out this suntan lotion at them, which of course means that the second you move your hand from your rope, that crap gets squirted on there, and it gets it can be very slippery. So it is an endurance competition, and so we do not know the winner, and won't find that out until Sunday evening. If you are here to hear a little bit of a oh, and there's a double elimination next week, so that's going to be another fast forward week. And just a reminder, Frank will not be able to participate in that HOH, and neither will Ian. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if the house guests know right now. They usually do find out, because you know, they're always given things to, like, if the, you know, if the game is gonna, you know, roll a ball or whatever, they get the game and they can practice for 5 minutes or whatever, you know. So they will more or less know that there's going to be a double eviction coming up. So anyways, that's that with that. If you're here to stay for a little bit of a spoiler, it's not too big of a spoiler. Stay. If not, I'm giving you the chance right now to click either the pause and then the X or whatever. But here is a spoiler. The punishment, you know, Joe fell off first. So the punishment is that he has to hula hoop for a certain amount of time. Oh, I see him on the feeds right now with his hula hoop in his hands. Every time the music goes off, he has to stand there and hula hoop. And I think somebody posted that it was until 4. I've had to do a lot of back and forth and running around, and I haven't been able to watch non-stop. But so yeah, he's got the hula hoop, which isn't, to me, a very huge punishment. And the absolute winner of the HOH, if you haven't already seen the video that I put up, is Ian. Shane and Ian were left on the sun going round and round, and I believe the rest of the house guests actually left the backyard, and you know, when they were alone, they were able to talk and deal. And Shane was asking, am I safe, am I safe? And earlier in the evening, Ian said, I don't know, I'm going to have to think about it. So, you know, later on in that evening, when he says, I'm safe, it was immediate. He was like, yes, you are safe, and Danielle is safe. And so he just immediately at that point dropped, Shane being he. And Ian stayed on for about a minute more and asked, is it okay for me to drop? Is it okay for me to drop? And Shane was in a bunch of pain, and apparently he's kind of ripped his hands open. So yeah, I'm just hoping that Ian isn't a total PITA pain in the ass this week, because of his inability to play in the HOH next week will almost more than likely solidify his being booted next week. So he better be Jedi testing at the board. Yeah, he better really work at things this week. Anyway, so that's it for me. I will be back here tomorrow, and I will be back to tell you the nominations then. Bye.